Just 1 second, let's roll back 5 years or so. Hardware sequencing was a little bit different back then. There were a lot of hardware sequencers, however there wasn't a humongous amount of choice. Well, actually there was still a heck of a lot of sequencers out there. However, it was either sequencers that were full of functions and versatility, however extremely convoluted, or, you know, very simple and easy to use, but yeah, simple. And there is probably people that will disagree with it, and if you do, please comment your sequencer that you disagree with, a little gem from the past. I'm just talking about my personal experience. And if you don't know what a sequencer is, I'm sorry, but a sequencer is kind of like a bunch of instrument players all in a box telling each of the instruments what to play. But regardless, it is quite obvious that other people felt this way, including engineers, because fast forward to 2020, yeah, there is a ridiculous amount of choice. Now you could get anything from menu diving hell, all the way over to probably a tiny simple one that fits in your ear, or maybe another orifice in your body. And over the past few years, I have been on a journey to find the perfect sequencer for me, and trust me, it is like trying to find the Holy Grail. Every single one has its pros and every single one has its cons. So I thought I should do this video chatting about a few of my faves, including one that has just turned up on my doorstep. Starting with a true classic, the Arturia BeatStep Pro. Yeah, this was the more complicated version of the BeatStep, which was, I think, had a single step of sequencing, and it was, whilst it was quite useful, it was one of the simple ones. Maybe 2015 the Arturia brought out the BeatStep Pro. It's like having 3 instrument players in a box to play 3 different instruments. And I initially, when I got it, it didn't make much sense, and I didn't use it for quite a while. It was just a little bit of a confusing thing, and it didn't really work with my setup. However, I shoehorned it in, and after about an uncomfortable week over in Dublin at the Moog Sound Lab, which is where I wrote the riff for my last song, Desperado Vespa. It's simple in a way that it's very quick to get to every single function. There's no menu diving, you literally push the buttons and you can get to every single function in under a second pretty much. And you don't need to be like going, oh, where is that option there? I can't seem to see it. The other thing is it doesn't sequence polyphonic synthesizers. That means you can't sequence more than one note on an instrument at once. However, there is a workaround. You see the drum channel, you can basically use these as MIDI notes to send into a polyphonic synth. See these black keys? These are basically assigned to the different drum pads on the BeatStep Pro. Another really good thing about the BeatStep Pro is you're able to record in multiple tracks at a time. So this keyboard sequencer right here has this knob that I can change MIDI channels. So I go over to channel 1 and I'm able to play in a riff on here, but at the same time as doing that, I'm able to play in a drum beat at the same time. And the other really good thing is the rolling function that makes it crazy, and you're able to make some good on-the-fly fills. Everybody requires something different from a sequencer, I'm aware of that. For me, I like live sequencing. I usually don't start with anything saved on these sequencers. I usually just start building a song from zero and go up to something. And you know you're on a winner to completely modify or change riffs or parts of songs in the time that it takes to actually play them. Other worthwhile mentions, the nerdseq. The nerdseq is basically a tracker that is in the Eurorack realm. And basically this is based on a sort of tracker like LSDJ for Game Boy, which, not to mention, you can actually use the Game Boy to sequence synthesizers as well. However, it is a little bit glitchy. But the nerdseq is really good at actually composing music, because you're able to get into every single step and change all of the parameters really nice and easily. Two other Eurorack sequencers that I think are pretty damn good are the Eloquencer, which is basically an eloquent sequencer, plus the Varigate 8 Plus, which is a crazy, like... Another sequencer that I think needs an honourable mention is the Arturia Squid, which is quite a big and involved sequencer. The workflow is completely different to what I'm used to, but I reckon if you put some time into it, that might actually be a very interesting and useful sequencer. So this right here is the illustrious cirklon, and yeah, after a while of waiting, I bought it. I paid for it. It was quite a big investment to purchase something like this, but I feel it's justified because I need to figure out the best way of sequencing my music for shows and live streams and stuff. This thing is humongous, and it is the big mama of sequencers, and it has got a price tag to match. It's about 1,200 euros. I know that is absolutely crazy money to pay for a sequencer. However, it has got pretty much everything, and there are only a few things that I've noticed that I would like to change, and there's a constantly updating forum that is constantly building on the firmware of this. But basically, if you've got more than 3 or 4 instruments that you want to sequence at once, this thing is the way to go. But I've done a video over on my other channel about this, and this is what this video is boiling down to, having a look at this new sequencer, which is the KeyStep Pro by Arturia. It's basically the Pro version of the KeyStep, which is a keyboard controller that Arturia have made that, I've got to be honest, it wasn't for me. However, there's a Pro version, and I think this is more aptly called the BeatStep Pro because it's more like the BeatStep Pro than the KeyStep Pro. I think it's just because it's got a keyboard. But yeah, I've been after a BeatStep Pro for a long while now. Now, I'm not going to get completely into depth with this thing. If you want a like complete function and all that stuff, then go look somewhere else. Well, the first thing off, it's got mini keys. I'm sort of hoping that maybe I'll be able to plug this in and directly mirror it. So I'm playing on the MIDI keyboard over here that is plugged into my BeatStep Pro, and it's actually mirroring it. Oh, that is amazing news. I'm gonna put them both on hold. I don't know whether this is gonna work. It might end up being a bit embarrassing, but oh, you can. Okay, I'm just gonna put a kick in really quick. I should probably change this up, but that's pretty cool that I can play in 2 channels at the same time. I have literally just realised that that is going to speed up my live sequencing. I think this would work really well with a BeatStep Pro as well, because if you're going to tell in a second, this isn't as good as the BeatStep Pro for programming drums. However, it does do an adequate job. Track 1 can still program some drums. By the way, you can program 21 different drums at once, so you could probably hook up like 3 different drum machines on this single drum track here. Maybe you can build an external pad controller, can clear things really quick. So I've just cleared every single pattern. There's a click now, which is pretty useful. Right, let's give it a go. Oh yeah, do the boogie. I'm gonna put in a drum beat. How did that start? I didn't realise there was a counting. Oh no, why is there a bloody counting? So I've just put a snare in. Simple. Now the cool thing is there's the arpeggiator. You can actually, and you can hold it. So like, and then bring another. Now, but there could be different speeds. I'm going to put in this one at 32, so it's like... Turn up the octave. Bring it up. I've got it muted at the back, so I've got a half volume kick over on the back. Right, so I'm going to try with my foot. I'm going to try and turn the kick on whilst I start the arpeggiator again. Ah, my foot's on the switch. Oh, I'm going to bring it. it's got most of the features that the BeatStep Pro has. Hence why I'm saying it's like a BeatStep Pro Pro. The BeatStep Pro had a big update just after it got released with loads of other cool features, and I have a feeling the same is going to happen with this. So I'm quickly just going to make another drum beat, like, oh, don't know, I'm on that sound, okay. Bash that in. It's a bit of a weird one. I'm going to go over to track 2, guess. Right, so I've got this. I'm going to quickly make this monophonic, so it doesn't have any random polyphonic notes in there. Right, shift, last step, 64. Okay, you ready? Try to get. Oh yeah! So I've got track 4 hooked up to this Poly 600 over here, so I'm literally like, so I can play it in the Poly sequence, check it's on Poly, make it 64 steps, and then let's do, oh gosh, I haven't tried this yet. Oh yeah! I'm going to try and make it a bit more funky. Oh yeah! Turn out the release. Bring it all back in like... That's all of them going. I'm going to go to the arpeggiator on this channel with hold on. Right, let's try it. I'm going to add extra octaves to the arpeggiator. Hopefully we'll be able to play in an arpeggiator into the sequence and make it even more fluid. So you play in using the arpeggiator to make a sequence. That would be an amazing update. That would make this like friggin' ultimate. And now I know that I can actually plug in bigger keys, but also use these keys as well as these keys on different tracks. This is onto a winner for me. I still need to figure it out. As you can see, I'm still like fumbling around, like going like playing it like this. But yeah, so that is a look at sequences, mainly the KeyStep Pro, which Arturia did send me, which I was quite happy about because I have been on their backs about trying to get a bigger, more powerful BeatStep Pro for a long while now. So it's pretty awesome. You're probably going to see this after I sort of become one with it and sort of master it a bit more and be able to fluidly use it. But I have a feeling this is going to really progress the improvisational aspects to my gigs, which may, because of this, become quite a bit more prevalent in the sets. I frequently use these sort of things in Patreon live streams as like performing, and I did one last week and I'm probably going to do one again in a week's time. And if you're interested in a load of random live synth music and stuff like that, go and check that out over on my Patreon, as well as loads of vlogs on bigger things that I'm actually building, and they are rather delayed, but there's plenty of information over on my Patreon, as well as loads of samples and stuff to download. But I hope my opinion on these sequences and stuff were all helpful to you. I've been Luke Mum No Computer. If you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, don't be scared to try it.